AI visibility, share of voice. Today I'm joined with Eldar Cohen, the founder of Local Dominator, an absolute brilliant tool when it comes down to AI visibility. A lot of people initially think that it's just there for Google My Businesses or Google Business Profiles, but actually I'm using it more now. I was using it for the Google Business Profiles, but I'm using it for the AI visibility. Specifically, I like the share of voice feature. So Eldar, can you jump on straight away, share your screen and show anyone who's watching this the share of
Absolutely.
voice inside of Local Dominator?
Absolutely. So the share of voice inside of Local Dominator give you a really quick insights of what's going on with your business. And this is what it's designed. So inside of the AI tracker, we have the overview tab that give you a quick snippet of what's going on real quick, whatever if you're doing it for your business or you're doing prospecting. So for example, look, Springfield Wellness Center here. Okay. This is, this business here. You can see that the share of voice in AI is 42%. So this is a pretty good scenario, right? You're 42. But if this was like 3%, 5%, then what you know that you are not getting cited or mentioned in LLM in an instant, right? You don't need to like just look at it here. Boom. All right, I'm getting 40%, 30%, 2%. So in just a second, you can understand your overall visibility in AI against your top 5 competitor.
So anyone who's watching this with regards to AI visibility, share of voice, then Eldar, I know the answer to this, but I want you to explain this in depth to people that's listening. Why is it important with regards to artificial intelligence and the LLMs that you're looking at share of voice versus just a rank tracker, which is a traditional way of SEO, tracking rankings within Google?
Absolutely. So this is really interesting because the traditional I'm ranking for this term is no longer the case. Now with AI, you can have topics, you can have things that you're going to be ranked for that you didn't necessarily aim for, or you didn't necessarily was, it's not laser focused like keyword, because AI doesn't understand keyword. They understand topics. It's way more broad. So what you want to understand is what is your share of visibility across those engines, not necessarily that laser focus, keyword like we used to. So when you're looking at things in a broader area, you can really see the whole playground. And this is what the share of voice here. It gives you understanding of the playground, your AI visibility playground. Okay. So that's why it's super important. There was days where we were looking at very specific prompt, but it doesn't matter anymore because you need to be at a broad. Am I ranking for this topic? That's the question. And from this, we can understand, what are the things that the AI is citing. James, is this okay? I'll show real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. So whatever prompt you have or whatever it is that you're going to go for, if you choose an engine, all right, let's say I'm going to go with this. At the bottom, you'll see brands. Let me show you this as well. And you'll see sources just like this. Now, what these sources are building basically your visibility. They're building basically your share of voice here, okay? So we know what we're going to do, right? If there are things we want to rank for, all right, and we know what is the links that are getting cited, what are we going to do, James?
Yeah, exactly that. Obviously, if it's being cited, you're going to reach out to them and try and get cited on those existing articles.
Exactly.
Now,
So
I've got a few questions on this. Can you just click onto the prompts tab,
absolutely.
just in case anyone's listening to this and not watching, so it could be on a podcast? The different LLMs. Can you just go through the different LLMs that's being cited within Local Dominator for the AI visibility share of voice?
Yeah, absolutely. So inside what we have right now is ChatGPT, Gemini, AI Mode, Perplexity, Claude, and Grok. I can share a little bit of inside data before you sing. The
Absolutely, yeah.
majority,
Do you find when someone's looking at the AI visibility share of voice that it can vary depending on the LLM model?
not necessarily, because we are looking at your entire present in those models. However, if you want to remove something, so let's say you just want to understand your share of voice in ChatGPT, look at this. Now I can see just my share of voice in ChatGPT. So I can isolate and understand, am I ranking in chat or am I ranking in Grok?
Something else that I absolutely love about this is that anyone who's listening who might have a new website and they might be trying to build up a new website, or they might have zero share of voice because it's a brand new brand, what you can be doing is you can be looking at the keywords and the phrases of competition that are showing up that have got the highest share of voice, seeing
Mm-hmm.
exactly where the prompts are that's citing them, trying to get on those sources. But then obviously off air, Eldar, we was talking about this where ideally you want to try and reach out to anybody that's got an existing source, a trusted source that ChatGPT or Gemini or AI
Mm-hmm.
mode is citing. You want to try and get on them. However, if you can't, you want to be trying to write a similar article with your brand included that outranks on a
Mm-hmm.
on a trusted site that can then get you higher share of voice. Just one other thing on the
Absolutely.
prompts. Can you just click back onto the prompts again a second?
Yeah.
Because anyone else who's watching this with regards to the reason why share a voice, I love it compared to keywords, is like Eldar was talking about, it's now not just about keyword based, it's topic based. When you start to create a search, it could be conversational and it could be a longer query. The AI and the LLMs would break that down into query fan out terms.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they do is they'd take little chunking like grounded snippets from different places and synthesize the answer. And what Local Dominator does is it's grabbing those prompts that are being used, which is allowing you to understand, okay, I now need to be covering this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really important. Is there anything else to expand upon with regards to share a voice that people should be looking at for AI visibility, Eldar?
Sorry, what's the question?
Is there
What's it?
anything else on there now that within this, with regards to, you've got the prompts, you've got the overview? I want to, anyone who's watching this with regards to opportunities, check out the link in the description. We're going to go into detail of how you can be trying to beat out your competition to increase that share of voice. For me, this is the best feature that you have within Local Dominator. I absolutely love it. These are the gaps in the market that you don't yet have that you can be having. But is there anything else on there with regards to you wanted to show on share of voice? Or is
One
that
thing that I
everything?
wanna
Yeah.
mention on the share of voice that is really really important is basically the models that you're going after. So if you have a new website and we all want to rank in Claude and ChatGPT and all of those, but then you have to ask yourself a question: which one of those engines will have the most amount of traffic for my business, right? If you are working with home service businesses, most likely you need to invest most of your resources and efforts into Google AI mode, Gemini, and then chat, and then Grok, and then Perplexity. Sorry, Perplexity is the last one, and then Claude, and then Perplexity is the last one. Um, that's something very important because what you want to do here with a share of voice, you want to fight for the share of voice that matter. All right. Because if you are a home service business, most likely nobody's going to search for you in Perplexity, but they will search for you on Google AI and AI mode and Gemini, etc. So this is where I would start. So my point here, you want to use the share of voice from the top down, from the most important, figure out who is winning, who is the most stronger player, and then from there move down the list until you see yourself controlling the share of voice. Essentially, you want to be somewhere at around 75% and up. This is where you are really enjoying the AI traffic.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who's watching this, just expanding upon that and agreeing with what he was saying. For us, we're in over 650 different industries within the UK in local. And we found that across the board, pretty much AI overview within Google is by far the most powerful. Secondary to that is AI mode, and then third is ChatGPT. The others are very minor in comparison. But obviously, what we want to try to do is optimize for all the LLMs. Claude might end up starting to grow further down the line, and Grok could start to grow. However, the main three you need to be getting that share of voice for is the AI overviews, Google AI mode, and ChatGPT. Make sure you check out the link in the description. It's the big one. It's the one where I'm going through with Eldar the opportunities and the gaps that you're able to do to increase visibility and beat out your competition in ChatGPT, AI mode, Gemini, Grok, and Claude. It's an absolute beast of an episode. Check it out. Increase that LLM opportunity to get you cited more in AI. Eldar, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.